What's up, everyone, and welcome to Metalcore Nerds. I'm your host, Sean Motts, and today we're talking about the Moon Knight finale, the last show, and the Moon Knight after show, and the last show for now with my trusty co-host and separate personality, Mike Skyros. What's going on, man?
I like that separate personality part. That's cool. I'm chilling, man. Let's talk Moon Knight.
Yeah, man, it's I've seen some mixed things on the internet about Moon Knight. I personally enjoyed it. We'll go over our overall thoughts at the end of
Yeah,
what we fully think about the series, but it's been interesting to see people's takes. I think this and with Multiverse of Madness, some people, I think, which has happened numerous times before with Marvel, is that their expectations get ahead of them, and instead of getting what they want, they get mad about it, even though
yes.
they never really intended in giving you something like that. It's just, sometimes you gotta sit back, enjoy what they give you, and if you don't like it, that's fine. But if you're mad about it not giving something that you wanted out of it, it's kind of hard to be mad about that. That's kind of on you. It's kind of on
I agree.
you for that one. So if you are new to Melcore Nerds, I just had a big announcement. This is actually posting on the day we record. Usually I post it a few days after, but we just got picked up by the Adobe network under Adobe Howl.
Yeah,
It's the biggest internet radio station in the world. I didn't even know that until yesterday, actually. But it's a pretty big deal. I'm very excited about it.
absolutely.
And it will be premiering on the radio show every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. But if you can't catch it live, no problem. It's going to go right on the podcast feeds right after that. So this will be on the normal podcast feed, but Monday is the first episode that's going to be on it, and it's going to be the Doctor Strange spoiler discussion. So Monday, my wife Sam's going to be on it, and a couple other my friends are going to be on it. We're going to go all into all the craziness as a Multiverse of Madness because there is a fucking lot. That movie is fucking insanity personified. I think that's putting it lightly. It's fucking crazy. And so I'm really excited about that. But again, if you are new, just hit that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. I post a lot on Twitter. I do a good amount on Instagram, but Twitter is where you're going to get the most action. And
Yeah,
if you go into the description, you can join the Discord, you can join the Facebook group, and join in all the nerdy talk with all the people involved in the community. It's a good time. It's a good time. But with that out of the way, we're going to go into a quick what we've been watching. I watched a few things this week. Again, one was Multiverse of the Madness. I'm not gonna say much because in a few days I'm gonna give my whole spoiler thoughts on it. But I really liked it. It's fucking insane. Avoid the internet because literally the whole movie is a spoiler, and that's not an exaggeration. They completely hid the plot in the trailers, and then within the first 20 minutes, you know what's going on, and you're like, "Wow, I did not see this coming." Again, Marvel with lines of dialogue in the trailer, not even in the movie, or they change the way it's said or the context. So a lot of what they gave you was very misleading. I will say some of the TV spots probably didn't need to happen. There was one cameo reveal that I don't think was needed, but if they were selling it to the more general audience, it makes sense. But I will say there are bigger surprises than what happened in that in that cameo reveal in the TV spot. There's some insane surprises that I never thought I would see. Probably 15 minutes of the craziest shit in the MCU I've ever seen. It's wild. There's an action sequence in it, and there's this big like kind of like expedition dump that's just insane. It's fucking crazy. It's nuts. Even if people didn't like that movie, they will talk about that scene. There's no way they're not. And I can see why people don't like it. It is kind of like a horror movie, honestly. It's like a Marvel horror movie. There's some really creepy stuff in it. It's really brutal. I'm really shocked of what they got away with in a PG-13 movie, which is crazy. And I know some people say that, but like they get away with a lot. I'm shocked they put this stuff in a Marvel movie. It makes me really excited for a Blade movie because I think they can easily pull it off PG-13, no problem, if they keep it the same way that this movie was. And it's a Sam Raimi movie. If you like Sam Raimi, you'll probably like this movie. If you like Sam Raimi and like Marvel, you'll probably love this movie. But I can see why it's not for everyone because it is a very different tone for the MCU. It's like a very big tonal shift for 100%. And then other than that, I finished up Ozark, the final episodes. It's a really fucking good show. It's all on Netflix now. If you want to binge through it all, it's a really good show. It finished very well. I can't say that I like absolutely loved the ending, but I don't really know. It's not like I didn't even hate it. It's not like one of those finales where like that was terrible. It like made sense. I just don't know if I loved it. But the last like 20 minutes is just pure tension, which I loved. That's pretty much the whole show is like anxiety of what's going to happen to this family, pretty much. And yeah, just go watch that show. It's a good show. And Netflix still has some bangers in there every once in a while. So, and a new Cobra Kai season's coming out in September. I don't know if you watch Cobra Kai. I think you would love Cobra Kai.
I gotta catch up. I really like the first 2 seasons. I gotta get back on my Cobra Kai game.
It gets better. It gets better. Yeah. And yes, the new season, September 9th, is coming out, which is crazy because the last 2 years we've gotten 2 seasons in a year. They'll do one in like the beginning of the year and one kind of near the end. Is kind of what they usually do. This one's coming a little earlier, so that's exciting for me. I love that show. It's so corny, but it's on purpose, so I'm about it. The show is awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything you've been watching this week, or you just been watching basketball?
No, I've been hibernating. I've been in the gym. I've been busy with wrestling related things. I watched the finale of Moon Knight, and that was basically all I made time for, other than old wrestling.
Fair.
But I got the important thing out of the way, so
yeah,
I'm chill.
You gotta do that wrestling research. I get it.
That's correct.
Get it. Are you going to see Doctor Strange anytime soon?
I want to make time to go see it. There are a few movies I want to see. I want to see new Nicolas Cage movie.
It's a good time.
I definitely want to see Multiverse of Madness. Definitely try to make plans for the movies, like to see where I can fit it in. But that one's definitely high on my list.
Yeah, it's definitely one I would say see in theaters too. Even the Nick Cage one is just a good time. It's just a good time. I had a lot of fun with it. Ridiculous, but it's if you like Nick Cage, you'll like it. I think even if you don't like Nick Cage, you'd probably like it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're expecting a serious movie, you might not like it. But I don't know who's expecting a serious movie of.
Oh yeah, I don't know why anyone would expect that out of this movie and this actor at this point is no.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, Multiverse of Madness spoiler discussion Monday at 7 on Adobe, which is it's easy. You can just go to the Adobe site and listen. There's an app you can download, or if you have Apple Music, you can just search Adobe Howl and you can stream it right on Apple Music if you're an Apple Music user. So there's a lot of easy ways to listen to it. But again, if not, just subscribe on the podcast feed and you can listen to it thereafter. It's going to go there. But there's going to be different things about the radio broadcast after this one. I'm able to play music on the radio broadcast. So I'll be doing like songs of the week to start off the show and then go into the full show. The show's going to be reformatted a little bit because I kind of got to keep in radio time now.
Yeah.
It's not super strict, but I would like to kind of keep in those guidelines and give more of a structure to the show. But yeah, it's exciting. And I'm excited to see where it goes because I have no idea where it'll go from here. Because never, when I thought this, I would be on an internet radio station. Ever.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Well, everything he's done is paid off, so it's cool to see.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. I'm very, very, very happy about it and very thankful to anyone who's been on the show or supported the show, listened to the show, anything like that. Even it being a part of the group is such a help to this because people notice that stuff and it's helped these things move along. And like I said, excited to see where things go from here because I think I'll be creating content for the website itself too, but we're still kind of working that out. So stay tuned on that. Working that out. But trying to bring more music into this the fold. A little bit more music into the fold. Because I've kind of I've not had a lot of music guests lately. I just had Paul from Desolated. So you can listen to that and listen to how wrong our predictions of Multiverse of Madness were. Because they're probably pretty wrong from what I remember.
Yeah.
But that's how Marvel stuff goes. You never get it right. You never. Sometimes you do, but very rarely. But it's fun to speculate. I never get mad when my predictions don't come true because it's way more fun to be wrong in those situations, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. But let's talk about the Moon Knight finale.
Boy.
So many things happen in this one. So it kicks off with Layla in Alexander the Great's tomb with Hero and his men. He has Amit's Upshanti, which is the little statue guy, and is headed to the Temple of the Gods to free her. Hero goes on like a soul-sucking rampage on the street as Layla's hiding within her men. which is kind of like convenient that she could just hide in a group of small men, but it's whatever. It's a TV show. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then we see Tara communicating with Layla through the dead bodies, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
And pretty much just says, hey, you got to free Khonshu, and then we can save Marc. And, she's kind of like, what the fuck is going on? But she kind of gets the idea. I mean, what she's been through, it should seem kind of normal that a god is speaking to their dead bodies at this point. And then as we get there, Harrow frees Amit in the Temple of the Gods after he kills basically all of the gods that are in there. Well, the avatars of the god, doesn't kill the gods, kills the avatars. Yeah. So they all got to find new avatars and shit. Releases Amit, and she comes out in all her fucking glory and looks pretty fucking dope.
Yeah.
And then there's this interesting back and forth between Amit and Harrow about how she says his scales are unbalanced, and he was hoping this journey of him would help pay like penance for his evil doings or whatever. And then she's like, well, I once had an avatar that had balanced scales, and then I got trapped for thousands of years. So he accepts her proposition to finally become her full-on avatar, which was wild. And we did get that cool transformation of his cane into like a gator hatchet kind of thing too, which was pretty dope. What'd you think about this first part? Because it picked right up and went.
Okay, the part where they were communicating through the dead bodies was hilarious to me. Just like Layla's like complete bewilderment of the whole thing. I just thought like that was one of the parts of the show I enjoyed, that as much like wacky, like crazy stuff was going on all the time. Like it's like they still take time to be like, what? This is ridiculous. This is fun.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. Amit's like seeing like Amit in like all of her glory was really cool, as you said. I like the character design a lot. The voice was very like it takes you, like it shocks you for a second. Like it was like, whoa, like very, very intense personality, but I thought it was fitting.
Yeah.
And then like all the other dumb avatars that were in that area, that got, like they kind of got what they deserve. It's like, I remember we spoke previously when Marc was like, yo, Harrow is trying to free Amit, and they're like, nah. I didn't feel like bad for them at all. You all deserve this. You didn't even look into the Harrow situation like the tiniest amount. Like,
nope.
Nah. You all
fucked around and found out there. For sure.
Like the part where she has like, I forget whose avatar it even is, but she has the lead guy in the hallway.
Oh, Osiris.
And he's like dying, and like it's like, oh, can you help? He's like, no, we need more avatars. Dead. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. That part was all just very funny.
Yeah, they definitely got what they deserved there. They could have stopped all of this.
Yep.
And it is what it is there.
Yeah.
So as that happening, Layla finds Khonshu's and Shakti and frees him. And Khonshu, that dirty little fucker, tries to get Layla to be his avatar, and she's like, no, you killed my fucking husband and like made his life a living hell. Pass on that one. And he's just like, fine, and then goes and has a fucking dope ass god fight with Amit within the temple, which is pretty cool, seeing him like run around super fast and see them kind of go at it. As that's happening, we go back to the Field of Reeds and we see Marc, and he's in perfect harmony and peace. But of course, him having the whole character arc with all of episode 5 is like, I need to save Steven. Like, they realize that they can work better together than apart. And so he goes back in the sand and saves Steven, as they're both, he's freezing up in sand, but he brings the heart and touches it to them. And it seems like their bond is what saves them. It seems more like it was Osiris. That gate opens up and like the light shines through and frees them. And as they're going through, the sands look like it's like a sand tidal wave is going to come out and take them. And Tara kind of deflects it with the boat. I love Steven yelling out, "Hippo!" That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
and
the
it's
internet
so
loved
crazy
that.
to me that Oscar Isaac is playing 2 different people there, because it literally just feels like 2 different actors. It seriously does, especially when they're next to each other. Mostly in this, like these ones where it's like they existed in the same plane. It's just crazy that it's 2 different people. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And that's what people said. Even people said who haven't been too high on the show, I think they were more expecting like a full-on action show and not like a character study on mental health.
Yeah.
Which again, like, fine if you don't like it, but I don't know. Oscar Isaac kind of talked about how it was going to be a character study on mental illness the whole
Yeah.
time. So that's kind of what I was expecting. And if you read this, is like is the Lemire run, kind
Yes.
of. There's
Yeah.
obviously major changes, but there's like not much action in that run either. It's all like mental shit,
Yeah.
which I
Absolutely.
think is a big component of Moon Knight. And like other people have said, there's not enough Moon Knight in the Moon Knight show, and I'm like, well, Mark and Steven are Moon Knight. They
Yeah.
are, So I don't know. Like, what do you? I don't know. It's fine if people don't like it. I like
Yeah.
it. So.
We're talking about everything. I mean, I thought we got
Yeah.
a good mix, and
Yeah.
people are gonna find like if it was the other way around, if it was all action and like no character development and no like none of the
Yeah.
mental health aspects, people would complain about that as well. So I don't
Very
know.
true.
I thought it was well
And
done.
yeah, I think it's good to set up the character like this. So, like, in the future, we just hit the ground running with everything else. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like we did the groundwork for it. Now we can go full on into everything. And even if this was a movie, I don't think they could have covered this much in a movie, honestly, because
No.
most of the episodes were 40 to 55 minutes, like
Yeah.
of 6 episodes. This is probably like one of the longest Disney Plus series. I would have to like look at all the runtimes, but I'm pretty sure this is like one of the longest Disney Plus series in length out of all of them.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But
When it comes to this scene though, I liked how like he gets to the Field of Reeds, which is basically like ultimate peace, ultimate paradise.
yeah.
He just like immediately nopes out of there to go save
Yeah.
Steven. That was very heartwarming. The hippo part, the internet really loved. I can see why. Um, I was interested in the scene because Layla frees Khonshu, and you see all the other gods sitting up there. I was just like theorizing, what if she just frees all of them? Like,
Yeah.
all
You went on a
like
rampage of freeing all
yeah,
of them.
get Hector up in here, get Anubis up in here. Like, I don't, I just wonder like what would happen if that could get explored at a later date. But like, I don't feel like they would be too thrilled with what Ahmet's trying to do. So that
No.
was the thought that was going through my head. Like if I were to sort of just like sweep everything off the shelf and just watch what happens. But yeah, very, very indicative of Conchu's personality to just turn around and be like, yo, you freed me. How about teaming up? Like
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
dude.
which is the correct decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So they get back to the real world. Khonshu, as he's fighting Ahmet, senses Mark and goes and saves him, heals him, brings him back fully. As that's happening, obviously, as Khonshu's there, Harrow knows that someone must have freed him, so he knows that someone else is in the temple. So they have people going after Layla, and then we see Tara. Well, she calls for Tara, and she speaks through Osiris's avatar, and they make a deal, being like, "Hey, yes, I will be your avatar for this," because they need more avatars to end up defeating Amit or trapping Amit. So
Yes.
they're like, "It's only temporary, though." But awesome when we get to this. But as that happens, Khonshu meets with Mark, and Mark and Steven make a deal with him saying, hey, if we could take care of Ammit, you're going to release us. We don't want anything to do with you anymore. And he says, fine. And they're like, well, how are we going to get all the way to Cairo? And he's like, well, I am the god of the night sky, turns it to night, and then sends Moon Knight fucking flying, which I thought was so
Yeah.
dope. Seeing him go with the cape moon shape into the moon
Yeah.
was awesome. So cool. So again, Layla made the deal. We see her costume, which is fucking sick. Which
Yeah.
she's now the MCU version of Scarlet Scarab, which is she looks way cooler than the comic version. The comic version was a dude, and it's kind of like an old kind of comic character, so it's a little bit goofy. So she looks fucking amazing. And I know that was a lot of people's favorite part of this finale. A
Yeah.
lot of people's favorite part of Moon Knight was Layla. And I mean, that's pretty warranted. I mean, I loved Oscar Isaac's performance personally, but she's an amazing addition. And the MCU has been adding a lot of amazing women and women that are people of color in phase 4. So it's cool for them to keep continuing that. And as that's happening, Harrow gives power to all of his followers, and they just start fucking sending a million souls that makes Amit grow into this fucking kaiju.
Yeah.
And we see a dope fucking kaiju fight. Well,
Yep.
before that, let's I want to hear your thoughts on Layla's fucking superhero
Oh,
gear.
yeah, it was so cool. I know a lot of people had complaints about this, which I thought was weird. Like a lot of the comments I saw, I was like, she just uh like a different like version of like Falcon or something. I'm like, no.
What?
She was so cool. I saw that comment a lot actually. I don't know
Really?
what
Interesting.
circles I'm being shown on Twitter and Facebook, but like that was a common thread. But I thought her costume was so cool. I thought her presentation was so cool. I also saw some people complaining about Moon Knight like being able to fly, basically, which is like, what do you like expect him to walk all the way to Cairo? Like, I get it. Like in theory, it would have been cool to have like a moon copter or something pick him up, but like we just we just aren't at that point in the show. Like, it is what it is. But no, this was awesome. I She definitely made the right decision by picking this avatar and not
Yeah.
Khonshu's. I think it worked out a lot better for her. And it was a really, really dope team up as well.
Yeah, I thought it was really awesome. And then we see as the kaiju fight is happening between Khonshu and Ame, we see Moon Knight Marc take on Harrow in an awesome fight, which then of course Layla joins. There's this amazing sequence where they switch from Mr. Knight to Moon Knight within the fight, which was fucking incredible. Even Steven's like, we got some tricks to show you to Layla, and it's awesome to see Mr. Knight in his like full glory. And I think people that were upset about Mr. Knight being kind of goofy, I hope kind of shut up about this and like
Yeah.
wait to see what happens, because I feel like this is very close to the Mr. Knight in the comics. I know it is a separate personality, but we see that Steven has a lot of brains. He can be that kind of detective part of it. And like obviously if he's a part of Mark's body, he's got the fighting styles, and he showed it off in this sequence. And I loved the sequence back and forth with switching
Yeah.
to Moon Knight, switching to like when they throw the baton and it bounced back and then Moon Knight catches it. I was like, yo, this is so sick. I thought it
Yes.
was awesome. It was
Absolutely.
so
No, I agree. It was so cool.
and then seeing like them and Layla team up to take on Harrow was awesome. And man, and then we get to a point where it looks like Harrow has the upper hand. We see Amit taking out Khonshu, and then we get a flash out. We come back into the frame. Everyone is fucking down, and Harrow got stabbed in the head with the fucking alligator hatchet. And that's when I think everyone was like, well, there's Jake. Confirmed.
Yes.
100%. They've been teasing
Yes.
it this whole time, but like, has to have been him. And even Mark's like, I'm guessing that wasn't you, Steve. And he's like, not a chance. Definitely was not me. And even Layla's like, what the fuck happened there?
Yeah.
And that I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, even if that's all we got, I was like, there it is. It's there. There's no doubt about it.
See, this is
They
where
end
we're
up,
gonna split a little bit. I thought it was very cool. I thought it was good for like setting up anything to do with Jake, but I was a little disappointed. Like there was that part of me that wanted to see like all of Harrow like getting his due on screen. Like
fair.
the flash out was very cool, but it got to a point where like, and maybe there's a chance we could revisit it in the future. But I was like, damn, like that at this point, like I really wanted to see that. Like it didn't like ruin the show or anything for me at all. Like
Right.
nothing dramatic like that. But like personally, I would have really liked to see how it played out, even if it was like in pieces or something.
Yeah, actually, Chris from the Geek Bee was talking to me about it, and he was bummed about the same thing too, actually.
Yeah,
Um, I am hoping, I will say, I am hoping in the future, now that we're gonna probably get the conflict, like the new conflict is gonna be with them, with Steven and Mark and Jake, and them
yeah,
finally working together, or maybe it never kind of resolves. I'm very interested to see if we do get a season 2 and what that kind of explores.
yeah,
Because we could get Bushman coming back, we could get a number of things. They could deal with Anubis, with all the shit that happened in the
yeah,
Duat and stuff like that. There's definitely a lot of things they can explore with that. Or we might just see them in a movie or in a team up or something. I have no idea what they're going to do with them in the future. It definitely seems like they're going to continue on with them, obviously. Um, but yeah, I do get that. But I do hope in future stuff it does get more brutal. Again, after seeing Multiverse of Madness, and even in Hawkeye or Falcon the Winter Soldier, there
yeah,
was some brutal fight scenes. and they can pull it off on TV, especially now that they have Daredevil and Punisher and all that stuff on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
They can make it a TVMA thing. I know that kind of limits the, you know, like kids watching it and stuff like that, but I would kind of rather them take the risk and kind of go more into that world, because it seems like Multiverse of Madness is going into that world. So if they keep kind of doing the stuff like Moon Knight and Blade and everything else, that Ghost Rider eventually that comes in that world, that I hope they kind of keep the level of intensity and brutality in those. So I do understand that criticism, and there's nothing against it. It just didn't bother me because at that point I was like, okay, Jake is confirmed. I think that's why it didn't bother me. And the fight scene before was so cool, but I totally understand why you and even Chris felt like that. They're like, oh, I wish they just would have showed it, because I do like, even like we were talking about, I don't really care that there was not as much action in the show overall.
yeah,
But it would have been cooler if it was a little more brutal, you know, not full on Daredevil or Punisher, but like just a little more. Like, even like I said, even in Falcon Winter Soldier, there's like, it's kind of like they did like the horror cutaway a lot, you know,
yeah,
like they took you out of the action and just let you see the ramifications, which the ramifications were kind of cool because they'd be covered in blood and shit like that. But
yeah,
there comes to a point where they give us a little bit of both, you know,
yeah.
just a
I
little
think
bit.
yeah, and like I guess the way I would summarize it for me as a viewer would be like I the cutaways I thought served a very good purpose throughout the series,
Mhm.
and I just would have liked to see, like, especially since we're at the end here, just that one
Mm,
to kind of bring it all together. But it
that's
it
very
didn't
fair.
kill the show for me at all. Like a lot,
Right.
especially like comic book fans are always going to be dramatic, and it is what it is. But uh, it just a small thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that and again, it's very fair. But that leads to them taking Harrow to the temple, and then together, Mark and Layla seal Amit into Harrow, and Khonshu's like, finish him off, kill him, and Mark's like, nope, if you want to kill him, you gotta do it yourself. I'm not gonna do that for you. And then says to let him free, and it seems like he does. Lets him
Yeah,
free, the costume goes away, and then they wake up in the asylum again, which was pretty fucking
yeah,
wild. But they get out of it very quickly. They kind of know it's an illusion in their head, and they even see Harrow's feet bleeding in it, which was kind of cool, like a nice callback to him walking on the glass from episode,
yeah,
like the first scene of the series
yeah,
entirely. And then they wake up back in the flat, and Mark complains about them living in a shithole.
yeah.
And I do love how it ends with them walking off the bed and getting caught with the ankle brace and falling on their face. That was pretty nice full circle moment for that.
Yes.
What did you think of the end of this before we get to the end credit scene?
Yeah, it it was interesting because the in the Lemire run there was like a definite point at the end. I mean, spoilers if you haven't read it in the 10 plus years by now, but there was a there was a like a part where you're like, okay, this is the part where it's reality. This is the part where he's making up, and they allude like super heavily to one side of it in the show, but it's not as definite. At least
Right.
for me as a viewer, and I thought that was interesting. Um, I did like the callbacks to the beginning of the show. One small thing too about Mark commenting on the flat. I don't think it's like that bad of an apartment.
No.
Maybe it's just me, just like living in like a bunch of apartments throughout like my years. But like he's got quite a bit of space. Like he's got all his books, his
Yeah.
fish tank. Like yeah, it's an apartment. He has to deal with all like the weirdos that live in his building that we saw previously, like during the elevator scene. I think it's
Right.
a pretty spacious area. He has like a nice like
Yeah.
street view. Got this big like bed area. Like I think he's doing pretty well for himself in terms of like having a flat as just like a dude that works at a museum. Like that museum
True.
salary is doing a lot for him there. I
Well,
think Mark needs to lighten up on the whole apartment thing.
true. He probably also had access to Mark's money without realizing too. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
that mercenary cash.
yes,
But now they have access to all of it. It is like, it's like kind of like a weird like logistical thing, is like what superheroes do in the meantime to make money. It's like, what are
yes,
they gonna do now? Steven got fired from the museum. I'm guessing Mark's not gonna be a mercenary. What are they gonna do for money? It doesn't really matter. It's just I think of those things sometimes because, like, even in the Falcon Winter Soldier, he goes to get a bank loan for his family business and gets denied a bank loan.
Yeah.
So they do show some of that shit, which is pretty
Yeah.
wild. That a literal Avenger can't get a bank loan, but that's America for you.
Sure is. Sure is, man.
And then we get to the after credit scene. Man,
Yes.
I was punching the air when this happened. So we see
Yeah.
Harrow in a mental institution, and he gets released. Someone wheels him out.
Yeah.
We see the desk person on the ground dead, and he
Yep.
goes out and they put Harrow into a limo. In the limo is Khonshu, and Harrow's just kind of like, well, you can't kill me, so whatever. And he's like, you don't have an avatar, nothing matters. And he's like, well, Mark and Steven are way more fucked up than they even know. And then
Yep.
he introduced us to Jake fucking Lockley, who takes
Yep.
out Harrow. And I was fucking stoked. And even the limo down
Yeah.
to the license plate, the Spector license plate is from the comics. So
Yes.
really, really dope ending. Finally gave us what a lot of people, especially Moon Knight fans, have been waiting for this whole series. And they gave us that reveal. And it seems like he's like Spanish or something. He was speaking Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I was a bit confused about that. I'm like, why is he speaking Spanish? I don't know.
they changed. I mean, obviously they changed Steven. They kept Mark pretty much the same, but
Yeah.
maybe they're just another way to differentiate him. Other than we kind of, it seemed like we heard like that New York accent throughout, but I think that might have just been a tease, and it was Mark
Yeah.
the whole time. But yeah, we get Jake Lockley. Awesome.
Yep.
Stoked.
Yeah. No, it was so cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm stoked to see what the future of Moon Knight is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know Marvel tweeted originally like check out the series finale and then deleted it and then posted it like an hour later saying season finale, which
Yes.
does allude to there being a season 2. They didn't confirm it right away like they did with Loki. Like the Loki post credit scene was season 2 is coming. It seems to be, it's not really a usual thing for these series. It's usually kind of one and done to kind of either be like a to tie the bow on one story and kind of launch another one, or introduce a character and then they end up being in something else. Like
Yeah.
WandaVision was very much a lead into Multiverse of Madness. Hawkeye, I'm sure, is going to be a very much a lead into whatever the Young Avengers is doing, and so on and so forth. Miss Marvel is going to lead directly into the Marvels, things like that. I'm sure. I mean, She-Hulk might get multiple seasons. It really depends how that one goes. I'm not really sure, but yeah, let's overall thoughts of the series of Moon Knight. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was very well done. I thought it gave us a little taste of everything. Like we alluded to earlier, people are gonna complain like, "Oh, I didn't have enough action, or I had too much of like the personality dynamic." But I think that's what makes Moon Knight interesting. Like
Mhm.
you can always put more action in a series. You can always have like super action packed episodes and fight scenes, and there were in this show. But I thought the first of all, the acting was phenomenal all around. Like
Amazing.
everyone killed it. I thought the character development was super like good. I have people that uh, in my life that know I'm like a Moon Knight fan. Like they had never read a comic, they never seen anything to do with him, and they were just telling me like how much they enjoyed it, how much like
Hell yeah.
they were sympathetic towards like Steven, uh, how cool they thought like Khonshu was, like the character. Like I just thought it was super well done. Like there were a few like minor gripes I had with it. Like I wish we
Yeah.
would have got that super violent scene with Jake like kind of played out. I wish we had a more, and maybe these are things that'll play out in like a future season or some sort of future installment.
Right.
I was a bit fuzzy in terms of the ending of the show in terms of Harold being let out of the asylum. Like, okay, like is this reality now? I don't
Oh.
know. Um, just because of the way they've played it throughout the show, but
Yeah.
I thought that as someone drives by playing really loud music, I like I really enjoyed in the last scene. I love Khonshu in the suit. I thought that was a whole vibe. Like that was really
That was
cool.
cool.
The limo was awesome. I just thought they wrapped it and they fit about as much as they could into like the time they were given without making it drag. Like there's a little bit of a little Indiana Jones in there with like episode 4. Um, just they played the settings really well, like with Egypt
Yep.
and with like him, like Stephen Grant living his life. I just really enjoyed the series, man. Like I'm biased in the sense that it could have been pretty bad. I would have still enjoyed it, but it makes you feel so good that it was actually good and well done. And
Yeah.
I think that is good news for all of us because I think that's not the end of Moon Knight, whether it be more of the show or him showing up other places. Like we're definitely gonna see more of him.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty much the same. Like I said, there's like a few gripes within it, but not a lot. I really
yeah,
liked how it went. Episode 5 is literally one of my favorite episodes of probably TV. It was so well done, and the finale. I know a lot of people. Some people even thought it was rushed. I maybe like a few parts, maybe, but I
yeah,
didn't really feel like it was rushed. I feel like they wrapped it up in a really nice way.
yeah,
I would always take more episodes of this, like even if they did like 7 or 8. I definitely felt like Hawkeye needed 8 episodes or something like that. Like the finale of like if I compare finales, the finale of Hawkeye felt rushed to me. This did not. Maybe
yeah,
they could have like let some scenes breathe out, but I felt like it moved in a nice pace. It did end very abruptly, but I think that was also done on purpose. So I can see people being upset with that, which makes sense. I didn't mind it personally, but I'm a dude who's mostly positive on these things.
yeah,
Pop culture in general, I'll always have maybe some like a few critiques and things, stuff like that. We've even brought up a few within episodes, but yeah, I really like this series. I'd probably give it like a 4.5 out of 5, honestly.
yeah,
I know that's probably higher than most people, but I really liked it. I mean, a lot of people, even in the group, said it was their favorite finale, their favorite Disney Plus show. So I know I'm not in the minority, really. It seems to be kind of like all across the board. A lot of people have even put it in the same rankings for Disney Plus series as I have. I have it like third right now behind Loki and WandaVision.
yeah,
But I really, and that's saying a lot. I like love those series. I think those series
yeah.
are insanely well done. So yeah, not much I can change. I know some of the directors from this are moving on to Loki season 2, which is very exciting for me because I
Yes.
loved Loki season 1. So I'm excited to see what they do over there. And yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, man. I think we summarized it pretty well. But I'm so happy the show turned out this way. I'm so happy that
Yeah,
we got to cover like super in depth as well on this
yeah,
platform.
yeah, man. I'm thankful for having you on,
Yeah,
especially you being a Moon Knight comic fan and being such a fan of the character in general. And I'm excited. I got a wrestler on the podcast. That's
yeah,
cool to
man.
me. I love wrestling, so that was really nice. And I know we'll be seeing each other at pay-per-views and shit at Justin's
Absolutely.
house, which is
Yeah.
always the best. It's always the
Yes.
best. But yeah, man, again, thank you so much for doing this. This is an awesome journey.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for having me. I'm super appreciative. Like, I do quite a few interviews, but this is like a different medium for me. It
Right.
challenged me in a few ways, and
Good.
it kept me honest with watching the show as well. Not that I wouldn't have, but like I'm like I gotta watch the
Right.
show. We gotta talk about it. So
Yes.
no, like thank you so much.
Yeah, man, no problem. And one last thing, Metalcore Moon Knight shirt is up for pre-order now. Go
It's
buy it.
I'm
It's
100%
awesome.
getting it. It's so cool.
Thank you. Thank you. My
Yeah,
friend Greg drew it up. He did an amazing job.
yeah,
Become the spin kick of Conchu, be a Metalcore Moon Knight,
yes,
pick up the shirts. I'm really stoked on it. It's actually done pretty well. I think it was the best launch, like first day sales I've had for a merch launch. So
hell
hopefully
yeah,
that keeps continuing and building as I go on.
yeah,
So yeah, they're. Don't worry if you don't get the pre-order. There'll be extras ordered. So it's probably going to be a small batch of shirts though. It's probably only going to be about 25 batches of shirts unless I get a ton of orders in the next like week or so when I place the
yeah.
order. But it'll probably be a small batch of shirts, so pick it up when you can. The Metalcore Mephisto shirt still available. I have like 3 left of the metallic gold variant. The old shirts, there's like not many left. There's few left, and I can understand why people aren't buying it. There's not many sizes left anymore. So, but yeah, those are on sale. The old shirts, the Metalcore Mephisto shirt might get put on sale eventually. We'll see how it goes. I do have quite a few of those left, but yeah, the merch has been going pretty decent, and yeah, again, super stoked we got to do this.
Yes.
And anything else you want to plug before we leave? Any wrestling stuff you want to plug? This is posting
Well,
today on Saturday, so
yeah.
whatever you got going on.
Keep a lookout for me on socials. I'm most active on Twitter and Instagram at You could see it like right under here. Well, it'd be this way.
Yes.
But at Mike
At Mike
Skyros.
Skyros, yes, for anyone
Yes.
listening.
Keep a lookout for me. Catch me live on Beyond's Wrestling Open. Every Thursday, I'm going to be there as much as I can. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to be on going forward, but that's one thing you can always catch me live on. You'll see me advertise it for it as well. And yeah, just keep a lookout. I post all my bookings on there. I post my merch on there, so go check it out.
Yeah, support this man. And we'll be seeing you in a few days. Debut
Yes.
on Adobe Radio, Adobe
Yes.
Howl, Multiverse of
Surprise.
Madness. It's happening
Yes.
Monday.
Yes.
And until next time, see you later, nerds.